Imagine a marketplace, right? But one that does more than just, take its cut. Picture it designed as part of this bigger engine, where the rewards it makes actually flow right back to the users, back to the whole ecosystem. Today, we're pulling back the curtain on Carousel. You might remember it as Base Media X. We're going deep into how Carousel works as this key piece of a larger flywheel, how it's set up to capture fees on Base and route them right back to you, the users. It's not just some standalone thing. It's really a vital part of the whole BMX ecosystem.
Okay, but before we really jump in, just a quick but really important note for everyone listening. The stuff we're talking about today, it's purely for information, for education. Definitely not financial advice. Interacting with smart contracts, any blockchain app, it always carries risk.
Got it. Thanks for that important reminder. Okay, so let's talk marketplaces. When you think about buying or selling digital assets, fees are always top of mind, aren't they? They can really add up. Carousel says it's built differently. It's an exchange for, non-fungible assets moving beyond just NFTs, and it seems to offer some real advantages.
One of the first things that jumps out at you with Carousel is the fees. They're incredibly low. We're talking standard listings at just 0.25%. Seriously. For context, that's more than 50% less than what you usually see on the big platforms. If you've ever sold anything valuable digitally, you know how fast those percentages add up. This seems designed to keep more value with you.
So Carousel isn't just for static JPEGs. It covers a whole range of stuff: avatars, art, music, video, even documents, anything non-fungible, really. And that super low fee, it's foundational. It's about lowering the barrier to entry and making sure sellers keep more of their sale. It's not just a small discount. It's strategic. They want volume.
Okay, and here's something that gets really interesting, especially for anyone like me who's ended up with 20 browser tabs open trying to figure out the real price of something. Carousel is built for smart price discovery. It pulls in and shows live floor prices from places like OpenSea and Magic Eden right there in the app, so you can instantly benchmark prices without leaving Carousel. It's like a real-time market dashboard. That sounds like a huge time saver.
It definitely streamlines things, no question. Having that real-time data right there, crucial. But, the deeper thing here is, by pulling data from everywhere, Carousel isn't just making it easier for you. It's sort of forcing more transparency on the whole market, which could pressure other platforms, It gives the user more power, a clearer view of the entire market pulse in one place, which, let's face it, is vital for making good calls quickly in such a fragmented space.
Right. And we've all heard stories, maybe even experienced it, where creators feel like they got the short end of the stick or their art isn't protected. But Carousel seems to tackle this directly. They talk about provably fair random listings and, importantly, on-chain royalty enforcement. For artists, that sounds like a really big deal.
Oh, absolutely. The provable fairness part. For their Carousel-style listings, like when you buy a random item from a set that's powered by Chainlink VRF, that's Chainlink's verifiable random function. It's tech that guarantees the randomness on-chain for every single purchase. It's a huge step up from, off-chain reveals. Real auditable transparency. And, this is critical, creator royalties. They're enforced automatically, right at the smart contract level. So artists and builders consistently get their percentage from secondary sales, which, sadly, isn't always the case everywhere else. It really aligns everyone: platform, buyers, creators.
And beyond just being fair, fundamentally, there's a bit more incentive to be active, right? Are there programs to get people involved?
Exactly. They run active rewards programs, top buyers, top sellers on the weekly leaderboard. They share in a reward pool. These campaigns are meant to encourage genuine activity, not just quick flips. The leaderboard resets every Sunday, midnight UTC, and the rewards, you can claim them 24 hours after the weekends. That delay, plus the structure, is specifically there to discourage wash trading. It promotes real engagement. It's really a strategic play to build a super engaged community, turning users into active stakeholders.
Okay, so stepping back, the bigger picture, what does all this mean for the whole BMX ecosystem?
So 60%, a significant chunk of all the marketplace rewards from that 0.25% fee. It gets converted into wETH wrapped Ether, for DeFi stuff, and go straight to BMX stakers. Those are the folks locking up their BMX tokens, supporting governance, stability. They get direct passive rewards for participating. And the other 40%, that goes directly into the BLT liquidity pool.
Right, the BLT pool. Why is strengthening that so important? What does it actually do for the ecosystem and for us users?
So BLT, the BMX liquidity token, by sending fees straight into the BLT pool, Carousel directly makes it deeper and more stable. This means there's always enough capital for smooth trades, less slippage for traders, and it just makes the whole BMX ecosystem stronger and more capital efficient for everyone involved. Healthy liquid trading.
Okay, so that really does sound like a self-reinforcing loop.
It's precisely a virtuous cycle. More trading, more activity on Carousel means bigger rewards for the BMX stakers and a more stable BLT pool, which in turn makes the entire BMX ecosystem more attractive, more robust, encouraging more people to join in, which leads to, well, even more activity on Carousel. The main challenge, honestly, is getting that initial adoption to really kickstart the flywheel. But once it hits a certain scale, the model is built for sustainable, organic growth without diluting the token. And that really stands out compared to inflationary models. Makes a strong case for long-term value.
Now, Carousel isn't just about simple buy now buttons or this clever economic engine. They've built in some serious power features too, haven't they?
Okay, let's zoom in on that signature thing, the Carousel. How do those pillars, especially the fairness one, play out there, particularly if I'm a seller setting one up?
Yeah, for sellers, it's actually pretty straightforward. You take two or more avatars you want to sell and deposit them into a smart contract pool. Then you set the price. It could be just a fixed price for every purchase. Or you can define a price curve. They offer, like, static stays the same, linear drops steadily, or exponential drops fast, then slows. Gives sellers options.
Yeah. You also pick how long the pool is locked. 1 day up to 7 days, and which crypto you accept, wETH, USDC.
Or wBLT, the ecosystem token.
And like we said, Chainlink VRF is under the hood, making sure every single random outcome is provably fair. No questions about it.
Right, the verifiable part again. Okay, so flipping to the other side. For you, the buyer, it sounds like you spin for a chance to get an NFT, and maybe it's worth more than you paid for the spin. What's that like?
As a buyer, you look at the pool first. Check the mix of NFTs. What's the rarity distribution? How many are left? What's the price versus the floor price? Then you click buy. You see this animation on the front end, the wheel spinning.
The visual appeal.
And then, bam, an NFT lands in your wallet. You always get an NFT. Every single time you pay, you receive an asset.
Ah.
The randomness just decides which specific avatar from that pool you get. You're getting something, just not precisely what until the reveal.
You're guaranteed an asset, just which one is the surprise?
Exactly. And there's even a bit of strategy involved if you're, say, hunting rares. As other more common NFTs get bought from the pool, your probability of pulling that specific rare one you want actually increases. The pool gets smaller, odds change.
That makes sense. That distinction is important.
There's some really powerful options. Auctions, for instance. You've got your standard open English auctions, highest bid wins at the end. But then they also have sealed bid Vickrey auctions. Now, these are particularly interesting. The winner actually pays the second highest bid. It sounds weird, but it's designed specifically to encourage people to bid what they truly think it's worth. And it helps prevent that last-second sniping that can be so frustrating, especially on rare stuff. And that's actually a unique feature on Base for them, thanks to an exclusive deal Carousel has with Sealed. Makes it a standout for serious collectors and sellers.
Okay, interesting. And what about sellers who want to move, say, multiple items from the same collection? Is there something better than just listing them one by one?
That's exactly what Carousel pools are for. Yeah, you can sell multiple assets from one collection, but using dynamic price curves, which gives you incredible flexibility. Like you can set the price to be static, stays the same, maybe good for a large standard collection. Or you can have the price increase linearly with each sale. So it goes up by a fixed amount each time someone buys, creates that feeling of growing scarcity. Or, and this is pretty cool, you can have it grow exponentially. Really rewards the early birds and captures that premium as the collection gets rarer. It lets sellers fine-tune their strategy based on rarity, demand, how fast they want to sell. It's a sophisticated tool for managing supply and potentially maximizing returns.
I've been hearing a lot of buzz, too, about Carousel becoming kind of the main place for veAERO NFTs. Why that specific asset? What makes Carousel the spot for it?
Right, veAERO. So that represents a locked arrow position on Aerodrome. And each NFT has specific voting power and unlocked times tied to it. Really important details. Now, a lot of generic NFT sites, they often don't show that crucial metadata very clearly. Makes trading them kind of inefficient. Carousel, though, is designed to be the natural hub for veAERO because its interface shows that voting power shows the lock terms right there on the listing card. So it makes it way easier for big veAERO holders, the whales, to list their positions, and for smaller yield farmers to see exactly what they're getting, acquire that gauge power instantly, transparently. The aim is definitely to make Carousel the central spot for trading veAERO, driving a strong liquidity flywheel just for that specific powerful asset.
Okay, last thing then, liquidity. You mentioned Carousel is bot-friendly because it uses Seaport. Now, as a regular user buying or selling, how does that actually help me? Sounds a bit technical.
No, it actually has very tangible benefits for you. So Seaport is basically an open source order book, right? Integrating it means that trading bots, sophisticated ones, can read and fill carousel listings without even using the website front end. What that means is automated traders, arbitrage bots, they can interact directly with listings. The result for you: deeper liquidity on the buy side and often faster sales. Bots are always running, snapping up items that might be slightly mispriced or trending, almost instantly sometimes. This usually leads to tighter price spreads and a much higher chance your auction gets filled because algorithmic bidders are constantly watching and jumping in. And crucially, it's zero extra work for you as someone listing an item. Seaport just broadcasts your order out there, and bots or even other marketplaces can fill it. No extra gas, no extra approvals needed from you. It really pushes the envelope for decentralized marketplaces, making them more efficient, more liquid, and ultimately better for the user.
So Carousel's clarity, plus features like multi-currency payments and those fair auctions, is aimed at making it the main transparent hub for veAERO. Better liquidity, better pricing.
Makes sense. So wrapping things up a bit, we've really covered a lot of ground with Carousel. We talked about the 0.25% fees, the smart price discovery making comparisons easy, the provable fairness using Chainlink, and how it enforces creator royalties on chain.
No more hoping creators get paid, it's guaranteed.
Then the big one, the economic flywheel, boosting BMX stakers and the BLT pool. Plus, the power features. Different auction types like Vickrey, the flexible carousel pools with dynamic pricing for sellers.
And its role as a hub for things like veAERO, making trading specific assets easier, and the Seaport integration making it bot-friendly, which ultimately boosts liquidity and efficiency for everyone. You know, looking at Carousel, this deep dive really highlights a shift, doesn't it? We're moving beyond just simple marketplaces for digital stuff. We're seeing these integrated platforms that act as fee-accruing engines designed specifically to empower their users by cycling value back through the system. It really makes you wonder, as digital ownership keeps evolving, how many more platforms will we see designed to genuinely give back to their communities rather than primarily just taking a cut? It's a fundamental question about where Web3 is heading.